What's up, everybody? Lambo here. It is November 10th, Monday of week 10 of season 2 of the Super League. And I'm back for another Lambo cap. Kind of knew that this was going to happen this week. Made some trades to potentially better my team for the Sacco. Dealt with Zodiac, giving him Egbuka, who went for 23, and Penis, who went for about 11, 10.98, I believe. In return, I got T. Higgins, who was on bye, so that was a big hit for me, obviously. And then Daniel Jones, hoping that Dimes can keep it up and his rushing ability will help give me a jolt in the Week 16-17 matchups for the Sacco. Unfortunately, my team is pretty much dead, so just playing for Week 16 and 17. Ready to deal in these last 2 weeks of the before the trade deadline. Hit me up with your injured players and your players on bye if you're fighting for a win in one of these next 2 weeks, because like I said, my goal is just to win either Week 16 or 17 to keep my life in the Super League alive. Super League is the best league ever created, so I do not want to not be a part of it next season. So I will fight for a win one of those 2 weeks. Let's get into the recap. So first matchup, Lambo versus Downs. Honestly, a little upsetting because Downs had a pretty shit week. He'll be putting up in the not any crazy numbers. Could have potentially beat him if didn't make the trade, but like I said, it probably won't matter for my outcome of the season. So still happy with the trade, knowing that Penis is just garbage, and we'll see what happens with Egbuka later on in the season, especially if Mike Evans and Godwin are not hurt during week 16 and 17. So not too mad about my trade. Next matchup, Zodiac and Trumpeters. Trumpeters is probably a Sacco team, but he got the win this week with a big score of 153, and Zodiac falls with a score of 112. Kind of nasty, but it'll be interesting. Zodiac 5-5, Trumpeters, not really sure what his name is. It's spelled Ters, but Tears seems more like the real word. He'll be 4-6. We'll take a quick peek at some of these players on their teams. All right, laptop's back up. Probably cut that out. I'm going to do a quick dive of Downs' team. Downs is top of the league, but his team is interesting. He's got Fields, Darnold, Flacco, Mariota, and JD5. But JD5 potentially comes back. I think low possibility, although they're saying like after the bye we'll reevaluate, whatever. I think his season's done. So with the news that Burrow might be coming back in 3 to 4 weeks, Downs could be dead because Fields could get benched by playoff time. Downs might need to make a move before the trade deadline. And Garrett Wilson now out 3 to 4 weeks as well. Downs is maybe on the decline, although he's number 1 in the league. So we'll see what's up with him. Not much depth on his bench. Back to Trumpeters versus Zodiac. Trumpeters has Herbert and Caleb, strong quarterbacks, especially since Caleb will rush. So strengthening his floor, even though he's not that good of a true quarterback yet, in my opinion. Still has to get some things out there. But good for him. Travion Henderson, finally a good week. I mean, 28 points, 2 touchdowns, 150 total yards. Trump's got to be happy about that. I mean, he was holding out hope since July on Travion Henderson, or August, whenever that deal was done. Let me see. He traded with milk on August 5th. So since August, and we're in November. Wow, what a grind. 3 months, a quarter of the year, he's been holding out hope for Travion Henderson. Good for him. His team is honestly not that bad, although he could be in the Sacco. Unless he has a doof, I wouldn't want to see him in the Sacco. He has some strong players with Ladd, Zay, and Warren. And Judkins. Those are some guys that could definitely boom. And then for Zodiac, Penis as one of his quarterbacks, and then Mahomes as his other quarterback. So obviously a huge drop off from Dimes to Penis. He's been holding out hope for Tet. I've been trying to explain to him all season. Tet's a good wide receiver, but he has Bryce Young throwing him the ball. That limits his ceiling because Young sucks. So that is the problem with Tet. Zodiac will fight, though. We'll see what kind of deals he makes in the next 2 weeks. But, he's either in the middle tier or maybe like the 9th seed. I don't really see him struggling to miss the 2026 season unless he gets a big doof as well. All right, on to the next matchup. This matchup is a sweat. Monday Night Football. Packers versus Eagles in Lambeau. Lambeau should be in Lambeau. But Lambeau doesn't have any people who play in Lambeau on his team. This matchup is a nail-biter. Kind of a stinker as well. Projections 117 to 113. We'll see. Gallo's 5-4, fighting for his life. Big win could be this week. If he gets it up to 6-4, he'll be in that playoff picture. Reaper's 6-3. If he wins, up to 7-3 and almost securing a spot in the playoffs. These teams also interesting. We'll see. Both of their quarterbacks thought they were a little bit better, but underperformed this week. Rodgers for Gallo, Nix for Reapers. He's got an obsession with blow dicks. That's what the Reapers does. He blows dicks. He picked this guy over Mahomes probably because he's a Bills fan and hates the Chiefs, which, there's been some, dilemmas this season with anti-favorite teams and stuff. Jordan Love on the bench, whatever. Questionable pick nonetheless, but he did have a good season last year. He could have made his reasonings for blow dicks over Goat Mahomes, but the other reasoning was that it's Goat Mahomes and he has a larger sample size than blow dicks. One good luck box season. But these teams definitely fighting for playoff spots. Any team that has Christian McCaffrey on it can, do some damage. He didn't have the greatest of weeks, and he still had 17.5 points. Bijan, not the greatest of weeks, 11 points. A little weird there, but I guess London had a big game, so I don't know. Looking at the rest of this team, Gallo definitely has a receiver problem, especially if Pittman is only putting up 3.9 points when that's probably his best wide receiver. Maybe it's Diggs, but, Pittman's had a good season. He just traded away Otten for 150 fab, so I guess his flex... Okay, yeah, he is Pickens and Ferg on bye, so Pickens is definitely his best wide receiver, I guess. Questionable, too, with CD back. All right, Reapers, Aaron Jones, old. That's scary. And then his wide receivers aren't too special other than wide receiver 1, JSN. That guy has been having a crazy season. Smith has been solid, too, even though Hurts can't throw the ball. So that's scary in the playoffs if you have a guy who could easily get 0 because their quarterback is just Garbo. Let's go to the next matchup. Nerds versus Nerds with a big win. Almost 170 points. He moves to 6-4. Clearly has the best team in the league. Loves to play, victim, whatever. But, I mean, he should just accept that he has the best team in the league, deepest team in the league. Even though he has 2 running back injuries, he has the horseman now at his wide receiver core. He didn't experience any wide receiver doofs, so that was big for him. His team's, solid across the board. Drake May is in the MVP conversation right now. He still has Derrick Henry as one of his running backs, and the King could, turn it up at any moment. But his wide receiver core is ridiculous with Nico, London, Adams, and Rice. That's what Lambeau wanted to do as his strap for this season, but the doofs killed me, and I tried to make moves at the beginning of the season, and then, it just fell apart from there. But, he's basically getting 80 points from those 4 guys per week. So, and then Kittle as your tight end, who 9 receptions, like ridiculous. Let's go over to this team. He was at the game this week, trying to will J.J. McCarthy to a win. Couldn't get it done. Ravens get the win. Maybe they win that division now with Steelers losing another game. But, JJ's shown some glimpses. His accuracy consistency has been subpar, so that's an issue. Gene T, what a gross Thursday night football game. I just looked at that and almost threw up in my mouth. Like, why did I just have to remember what happened on Thursday night? Like, we were a Nick Carlson missed field goal away from overtime in that game. Luckily, it ended 7-10, but absolutely disgusting. Nick's bad game, Sutton bad game, Dobbins bad game, Harvey bad game. Like, this was just gross. But luckily, Gene T put up 15. So, wow, look at this. Gene T and Doodle both put up 15.3 for. That's impressive. Pretty cool. Doodle could have saved season. So we'll see what's up with during the Sacco. But he's scary. Burrow, he's back. We'll see if they actually bring him back, if they're like completely dead. But he's practicing now. That's what you call life for a team that was dead. Has to be happy about that. So he's active in the chat again. It's good to have him back. It was really pathetic what he did. Kind of rolled over and took it up the ass when his team fell apart. Not the dedication you want to see. Kind of expected more out of, given his passion last season. And unfortunately, it seems like he's caught in the matrix. Like, his excuse, which he didn't like to say, is that he's working from 8 to 9 unless he's at wrestling practice. Good for him for giving back to the community with all of his great knowledge in the wrestling field. But come on, man, like, don't get sucked into that BS. Don't fall for the matrix. Abacus, man, come on, be better. No excuses. Super League's number 1 over everything. Remember that. Alec Pierce seems to be pretty good. Big game, 84 yards and a touchdown. Tight end, like Tyler Johnson, that's just like a luck box game probably. K9, oof, I'm so sorry, guy. Like, it's just a disaster. Like, what are you going to do? It's unstartable. He's a good player, but, like, they hate him when it gets inside, like, the 15-yard line. Baker Mayfield, much better game this week. That bye probably helped him. He looked like he was seeing ghosts, overthrowing egg the last 3 weeks, like 12 feet in the air every time we targeted him. But now he's back, maybe back on that MVP grind. All right. Next matchup is Queef versus Pred. Pred accepted the win and did not win. So Queef gets a win and he has life back in the Super League, 5-5. Good for him. He loves the Super League. He is a little delusional, but, it's going to make it interesting now that he's 5-5, Pred 6-4, potential Gaio 5-5, and then Reapers, Nerds, both 6-4, and one more potential 5-5 in the next matchup. So definitely makes the Super League super interesting. So there we go. Gibbs had his big game, dominated the Commanders with 3 touchdowns, almost 40 points. James Cook, not as good of a game as he normally has, but still solid. Computer's glitching out, but Puka, he's Puka. He'll be important for that playoff push that Tribal is trying to make. Just opening back the Sleeper app on the laptop, but Pred, like, he's in the playoffs, but his team's really not that scary, just because it's top heavy. If one of the top 3 players on his team has a bad game, he's done. Like, Bowers didn't go for 40, so he lost. He still put up a respectable week, but it's something to worry about. Maybe you could dilute a player, or just like give me Bowers or something like that, but just for like Fab or whatever he wants, just trying to help a player out, knowing that Fab's pretty important at this point in the season. So Brad, just hit me up. I'll take Bowers off your hands. Let me open up Sleeper real quick again. But obviously his quarterbacks are pretty nasty. Lamar, Jalen, those are some lethal players. Brees Hall finally had a good game. Got a touchdown versus the Browns defense, so we'll see. These teams are interesting. There's definitely some spots up for grabs in the playoffs. We'll see who can fight for it. The last matchup, Milk versus Love. This is the matchup of the week. Both projected about 170 right now. Monday Night Football looming. We got Jordan Love still to play and Josh Jacobs. We'll see. And Christian Watson. Whoa. Oof. So maybe Christian Watson catches a luck box 80-yard touchdown and kills Milk's season. Spoiled Milk. Milk, though, he revived his team. Oh, Doobs. Wow, this is the matchup. This is the matchup to watch. Don't get duped, bro. You might get duped. Who gets the touchdowns tonight? Is it Jacobs and Doobs each combining for 2 touchdowns, or does Christian Watson catch the 80-yard touchdown? We'll see. But Love's team, dude's got some boomers on there right now. JT put up almost 50 points this week, one of the games of like all-time fantasy football. And then he has Amon-Ra, Jamar, like those are some bombers. He easily could get a 40-point game from Jamar and JT in the same week. Like, what are you going to do about that? Then he only needs 50 points from the rest of his roster almost to win a game. Like 60 points is like almost a secured dub. Milk saving his season somewhat. Unfortunate performance from Jay Jetta's 12 targets. Not really sure what's up with him, but Jake's take in the chat that he's no longer top 2. He'll probably eat his words, I would say, next season when they start to click more. Justin Jefferson is an amazing wide receiver. Don't discount him. Obviously, there's other great wide receivers, but he's still in tier 1 with Jamar. Just watch the tape. A-Chain, he's a monster too. Love that guy. He put up 40. That kept him in the matchup. Derry, A-Chain, and Stafford. That was a big win for Milk. People were clowning him, the Stafford for Purdy trade, but got Milk first time. People didn't understand this. Stafford's on MVP watch as well. So we'll see what happens with those 2 matchups. Kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. Gaio and Reaper's a stinker matchup. Like sub 120 is going to win it. And then whoever gets to probably like 175 or 180 in the Milk Love matchup wins it and saves their season. Love really needs it for the playoffs. Milk's trying to win out to get to the playoffs. It's a hard thing to do. Not many people can string together too many wins in the Super League. It's tough. Again, just trying to save my life in the Super League. So if anyone has some trades that players are on bye or injured, hit me up. I'm down to make some deals. Obviously trying to give you guys the week, but level up just a little bit for that week 16, 17 Sacco Bowl, whether that's they have a good matchup or just a slightly better player. But that's the end of the recap. I do have a special treat for you guys, so stay tuned for this very exclusive special interview. I did this recap in the new Lambo. Last time I was in the convertible. Now I got the new all black Jeep. So Lambo does the recap from the new Lambo. Stay tuned for this exclusive one-of-one interview. I'm out. All right. Hello, everyone. Here is the exclusive interview, Lambo and Bushkill Chaw Dogs. Everyone has been waiting for this. Papsy, it's great to have you tonight. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. Glad to kind of be part back of the league a little bit.
Yeah, so that's why I wanted to bring you on. Give us a little insight of what your life has been like outside the Super League.
Ah,
Before you answer that, the punishment this season, I'm not sure if you're aware, is loser gets kicked out of the Super League for one season.
I
So,
did hear that.
now that you've been our loser who is out of the league this year, give us a little insight of your life outside the Super League.
Well, I don't have about 1,000 messages a day on my phone, which is a little nice. I don't have to clear as many messages out. Um, Still playing fantasy football in the league back with my friends at home. League with all my college friends, and then a work league that's just doesn't really mean anything to me. But those are my leagues. Doing decent. Wrestling league at NC State, not doing the best in, but my friend league and back home, I'm kicking ass. But it's not as intense as in Super League. It's a lot easier.
Gotcha. So in that NC State league, is Matthew Grippy part of that league too?
Yes, Matthew Grippy is a part of that league, and the running joke is Matthew Grippy, I don't think has ever broken 500 in the wrestling league. He's the fantasy expert, though. He is the
Dude,
fantasy expert and terrorist, the fantasy terrorist in that league.
he's such a terrorist. You do not know what's going on in the Super League with him. I don't know if he's told you, but it's a mess. He might be back. I mean, right now he doesn't even have a team name. He's that lost.
Oh,
But Joe Burrow just announced maybe back in 3 to 4 weeks, so that could save his season. Um,
Joe, yeah, with that injury though, Joe Burrow, turf toe. When you're getting paid that much money, you can't sit out with turf toe. There's
yeah,
there's got to be a way.
turf. I don't know if you ever had turf toe though. Like I had it in high school, and I believe it when they can't play. That was so painful. Like I couldn't walk. I literally was in a boot.
I know it's painful and I've heard it, but when you're making 30 mil a year, you got it. There's got to be an easy fix to get back out there.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. It's tough. He tore his tendon. I don't know. Surgery. Um. So, are you still at working for Amazon?
I am. I'm working Amazon. I'm on day shift now, so my life's a little bit better. Working Wednesday through Saturday, which is nice because my Sundays are completely off for football. So every basically don't miss any football. Thursday night I get home, get to watch it. Sunday I'm off, and then Monday I'm off, so I get to watch a lot of
Wow,
football.
that is a big difference from last season. You must be really happy about that day shift
Oh,
versus
10 times happier.
uh, uh, how was Prime Day? Was it hectic?
Yeah, it's crazy. The peak season's coming up. They call it peak from Black Friday to Christmas. It's when we're the busiest, so we're kind of gearing up for that. So
But your
hopefully it's not too
your
crazy.
football watching won't be
Not affected whatsoever.
wow, that's awesome. Um have you been to any games this year? Any Birds games?
Nah, I don't go to the Birds games at the link.
It's too far.
Going to the link, first of all, it's expensive now because they're doing really well. Second, I like to watch all the games. So
I get it.
you go to a game, you can't watch all the games on Sunday. So
I get it. Yeah, that's dedication to red zone. You know, you're
yeah,
7 hours of almost commercial free football. The hell's up with
Mhm.
that? Uh,
Yeah.
is more important.
I
Um,
do got a cheat code too. So I bought the Sunday ticket. It's a little expensive, but if you have a student account, it's only 120 bucks for the year. My sister's in college, so I took her email, and so now I run the quad box on one TV and then red zone on another.
that's elite. Yeah, I mean, you're just living the life. Like that's I heard about that hack actually just yesterday.
Yeah.
At watching Red Zone because we were streaming it like losers, poor broke boys,
Yeah.
and it was glitching out. And they're like, "Should we just pay the 120?" My sister has her EDU account. We can get it
Mhm.
student discount. I'm like, I don't live in this house, but I think you guys should do this.
Yeah.
uh, so what? Tell me a little bit when you found out that your life in the Super League had been cut. You flatlined. What kind of went through your head when that information was relayed?
Honestly, a little bit relieved. It was a lot for me. It was. You guys are full tilt, and I love it. And I was kind of the guy who was off in the corner, couldn't always respond. A lot less pressure, a lot less text messages. I'd be going into a meeting or something, and I'd be like getting a trade proposal, or I was up for how many hours asking, running night shift, and they would be like, "Hey, look at this trade." I was on two different schedules. It was actually I was making fun of Grippy. I was like, maybe another time, but I wasn't 100% in, so I get it.
So now that your schedule has changed, do you think that would, change your ability for performance in the Super League, or is the Super League just not kind of what you're looking for out of a fantasy football?
Oh, a lot easier. The only thing that sucks is I my schedule changes every 6 months, so I don't know where I could be on day shift, and then at January 1st I could be moved back to night shift.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's
So
tough.
there's a lot of uncertainty, but I think now that I'm settled into the job, it would be a lot easier to manage the Super League.
True. I got you. Yeah. Super League is a lot. It's a full-time job. I mean, people have been contemplating quitting their full-time jobs just to go full-time Super League. I know I'm one of them trying to save
Yeah.
my life. So Lambo is pretty much dead. All tires are flat. Neighbors dead. Tucker Craft dead. CD was out for 4 weeks. He's back, but pretty much Lambo is struggling. I'm probably favored to get cut from the Super League. So right now I'm just working to make some deals to see what I can if I can get a luck box win week 16 or 17. So getting this insight from you and it's definitely going to help some of these Sacco ridden teams maybe with a little relief. But I know everyone's fighting for their life in the Super League. I'm just trying to look at some of my questions I have here. So, last year when you were in the league, who was your least favorite league member? Who annoyed you the most, or who did you think was, just talking nonsense or delusion? Like, give us some rankings of some of your fellow or former Super League members.
Oh, I don't know if I had a least favorite. I had a fun time. I think my most favorite to watch lose was Liam. Anything that Liam did is just hysterical. Not only like it is when he's having a bad week, I know he cares so much. I've known Liam for a little bit, got to know him through Grippy through college. Seeing him lose, I don't know what it is. His reactions, just I love that. So I wouldn't say there was anyone that I got annoyed with, but oh, nothing was better than watching Liam have a bad week.
I think that's probably a common theme through a lot of Super League members. The tribal queef,
Yep.
he is very animated, whether
Hmm.
it's a win or a loss. His whole week emotion, which I love it. It rides on a Super League win or loss. I mean, I get it. Um, it sucks losing the Super League, and when you win, there might not be a better feeling. Uh, so now that you have more time on your hands, have you been able to, you know, develop any closer relationships or, spend more time with your family, any girlfriends? There was some narratives in the Super League last season. If you had a girlfriend, you're not going to do well in the Super League. And then this year the narratives are changing. People are trying to push that if you do have a girlfriend, you're at top of the league. The narratives are all over the place, but just now that you have more time on your hands, what's your social life like?
So my social life is a lot better. A lot of golf this year, which was great. Played a lot of good golf. Uh, Spending more time coaching. Get to see my family a little bit more. It's really cool. My brother is a junior in high school, so I'm coaching the team that he's on.
Nice.
So I get to spend a lot more time with him. No girlfriend at the moment, which sucks. Maybe I got to see the data of the Super League, the performances. Maybe if that's something where everyone's doing real well with girlfriends now, I might have to take that into next year's football season.
Yeah. I mean, data for me is no girlfriend. I might be kicked from the league. So there's one data point. So you're coaching wrestling now. You're coaching your younger brother. How's the wrestling team doing?
Oh, real good. The season's kind of just kicking up, just starting. Got some hammers. It's kind of one of the younger teams. We only have one senior, only two guys returning that have state medals, but we have a lot of sophomores and juniors who are gonna put a put their names on the map this year. A lot of guys already getting recruited, just from their summer accolades, which is cool to see. But it's gonna be a fun year. Definitely gonna need the whole team to step up to win a state title.
That's awesome. And I'm sure they're getting some great guidance from legend Jared Papsey, uh, you know, hometown hero. Um, so do you ever check the Sleeper app just to see if there's anything that popped up? Any reminiscing on anything from the prior season?
So yeah, my league back home, made the executive order to get them to switch over to Sleeper. Big fan of the Sleeper app. Um, it's the old league is still kind of there. Sometimes I go back if I check messages, there's things that won't pop up when you click it, but there's like trade proposals and shit from like a year ago.
Oh,
So it's
in
funny to see.
the queue,
Yeah, yeah.
in the DMs.
Um, but yeah, I think Sleeper's a lot better than ESPN. Um, Try to get in the college league. Me and Grippy were big on trying to get the college wrestling team league over there, but everyone wanted to go traditional. ESPN, we still have a kicker, we still have a defense.
No,
They like traditional. It's
that's too
hard.
traditional.
Yeah,
ESPN has ads on the screen. You can't even see your
no.
score at the bottom or your players at the bottom. And
Mhm.
kickers and defense, come on, that's boomer NC State.
Yeah, they like tradition. We tried.
I love the push for it though. Super League this year actually did switch to tight end premium, so it's been an interesting twist. It's actually gives people more avenue for who they're starting in their flex because there's a couple more players that are better. Um,
For the tight end premium, what does that consist of?
every reception is 1.5 points rather than one. So like
Okay.
Bowers the other day went bonkers and he had like
Yeah.
40 bomb. Those receptions are huge. I mean, it's interesting because you can have a tight end go for 4 receptions, 20 yards, but that's like eight 8 points, which is not as garbage as some of
Yeah.
these, if that was half point PPR, that's 4 points.
Hmm.
So don't want to take up too much of your time, but really appreciate you hopping on here. This is the going to be the highlight of the Super League recaps and interviews of all time for sure. But I wanted to ask if you could give, any advice to players in the Super League or a motivational quote, what would it be?
Phew. Um, let's see. First, start off, I would say congrats to all the guys up in New York on Mondami. That's a first step in the right direction for not only living in New York City, but for the Super League. I think that's really great. Congrats to Liam for voting him in. Um, for the other guys that are living in Virginia, keep lifting hard, keep living primal, keep eating meat, just sticking what you're doing. I think that's going to separate the Southeast Virginia guys going up against the New York City guys in the Super League. So just keep living like badasses, and you'll take home the victory.
Wow, that is an amazing quote. Great advice, guys. Stay primal, lift hard. Um, I don't know if you've heard about the New York versus Virginia beef, but there's been a lot of talks about a New York versus VA basketball game. Um, I know it's tough because you don't know everyone's, skill sets and whatnot, but obviously Virginia thinks they will win. The person we picked up is a Virginia guy, and he's like Steph Curry. You never see like he's number one basketball player in the league by far. And then the New York guys, maybe some of their skill sets, but would you have any bets to place on a New York versus Virginia basketball matchup?
Yeah, New York would definitely be the underdogs. I know DeCarlo is a big athlete. Grippy is a sneaky athlete, even though his short, stocky build. But for basketball, he doesn't have it that well. Um, I would have to go Virginia. If I was doing a spread game to 21, I would say Virginia minus 6.5. It was a 21. It was a game to 21. Mhm.
Wow, guys. Okay. That'll have to be noted when this game happens. Well, Papsy has a minus 6.5 VA. Heard he's putting 5K on it. So uh, that's a big spread for a 21 point game, too. Um, just wanted to give you the floor now if you had any questions for me about the Super League or if you wanted to say anything else. But this has been a phenomenal interview with the Bushkill Chaw Dogs 2024 Super League legend.
Yeah, I would just like to know just the standings going into the back half of the league, the stretch here.
That's a good question. Why don't I try and pull this up actually, and I'll share the screen and we can diagnose it together. Let me pull it back up. Share screen. Share. Um, can you see the screen?
Yep, I got it.
All right, let's go to league. Here are the current standings. Um, so Casey's at one, but he has JD5, who is probably out for the year. Down, and then he also has Fields, who has been potentially, could be benched. So his team's interesting. And then, but he also has Flacco and Arnold and Mariota. I mean, he's just quarterback everywhere. I don't know. Reapers, so looking at this, these three all girlfriends. So, you know, narratives right there. Reapers total 180 from last season. He went on a hot streak to start the season out. Got a new girlfriend in Texas. Pred, his team, he's top heavy too. He's got Lamar, Josh Allen, and Bowers. So it's tough. He can have some boom weeks. Nerds, we might see a back-to-back Nerds championship. He has by far the best team, but he's in 5-4. Anything can happen. No girlfriend though. El Gallo, he's fighting for his life. He's a yellow cup girlfriend, not girlfriend, hard to say. He never is straight up with anyone. He likes to, lie a lot about his status. But there he's at Zodiac Killer, JD Carlo. He has a girl, basically a wife, so he's middle of the table. Hard to say which way he ends up, down or up. Tribal Queef, not sure his love status. I know he was talking to someone, but maybe not anymore. But he got to win this week, so he's 5-5, middle of the table. He has a good team, but Queef is a interesting manager, so he ping pongs back and forth. This is our new member, Max. Um, he's notorious for doing a recap and then the next week putting up the highest points. So last week he was recap, and this week he is the potential to be the highest scorer. This is the matchup of the week, fighting for their lives. Both be first and second highest scores probably, unless Miles beats them both out. And then we got Love, Jason, Milk, me, and I am faggot, doof, the Matt Crick. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to see any of the rosters, but that's the breakdown of the standings right now through week 10.
Yeah, I think that it's going to come down to guys being healthy and whoever has Jonathan Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor is part of Team Love. Team Love
Oof.
has JT and Jamar and Amon-Ra. So, he can make a push for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
See,
whoever has Jonathan Taylor is in a good spot every single week. It's
yep.
JT's season.
JT's season. I mean, he's an MVP candidate, right? Um, MVP candidate for sure. But Pap, appreciate your time. I
Oh,
know the boys are gonna love this. I'll send you the YouTube link too. But this is awesome. Glad you're doing well. Love to see your smile. Not a Birds fan though, so I mean I'm a Commanders guy. So
yeah.
good luck, whatever. Mom's at the game. I like could care less if they win. I'm going. I'm actually going to Spain next week for the Commanders game. A
Oh,
little.
that's sick.
It's going to be sick. A little turn of events from a
Yeah.
85 versus Dolphins like playoff energy. More now it's Mariota versus shit Tua, but still be cool. So, all right, Pap, stay in
Uh,
touch. Be well, brother.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Peace.
See you.